Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. One second, let me just straighten this out. We're going to start off with Allie and Alex because after she woke up and had the amazing hangover that we all have when we drink too much, she realized that she really royally screwed up when she sees Alex. And she starts calling herself a serial cheater and everything, and she's like super regretful, and she's like, what have I done, and yada yada yada. And Alex just then tries to make her feel better, which ultimately makes her feel worse. And it gets to a point where she tells Alex, I gotta be honest with her. Secrets have a way of coming out. I'm gonna feel super guilty. I can't sit there and keep lying to her every day. Now put this scenario in front of people. And this is only going to make sense somewhat if you ever watched this show called Torchwood. And does kind of relate to the show and the moral question that she's really sitting there pondering. So she feels that if she tells the truth, then maybe they can work it out, yada yada yada. But in Torchwood, the character name, I think her name was Gwen, one of having this one time affair, this one night hookup, whatever, with somebody on the team. Now, she kept sitting there thinking about if she should tell him, if she shouldn't tell him. Ultimately, she didn't tell him. But the thing is, that was the only time that they did it. And they wound up living a very long, happy marriage. They wound up having a child. Um, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, she regretted it. But the thing is, she never did it since. And he lived a very long life. Had she told him, they may not have actually, lived that life, had that child, and just been very happy. And I think the lesson for that was, not telling and not doing it again, not being a serial cheater, just that literally one time thing only wound up working for them. Because let's be honest, somebody can sit there and tell you they'll never do it again, and you can believe it. But in the back of your head, it's always that permanent marker that's always going to be there. Regardless if y'all are good and everything like that, the first time that y'all have an argument, whatever, it's going to come up and you're going to sit there and think about it. It will be what it's going to be. As opposed to them not telling you it, you not finding out, you living a very long, happy life. It's just like the saying, ignorance is bliss. And I wanted to kind of sit there and throw that story in there because, granted, in these shows, things do have a way of coming out. It is what it is. But for the sake of moral questions and stuff like that, I figure I kind of throw in that little story. Um, Ultimately, Alex convinced her not to tell the truth. Meanwhile, Pauline is there giving her the riot act as far as them being drunk and, you know, they almost saw the kiss, but they really didn't, and you need to sit there and really try. Um, basically, Pauline's like, listen, I'm going to be on your side. I want to see you both together. Just make sure you give it an actual fair try until you don't have any options left. And convince Pauline and convince Chanel to kind of work things out. So she briefly saw Johnny for a little bit, and then she headed on her way back home. Alex seemed like he was taking forever to get dressed, to get ready and everything. And so by the time he was about to leave, Chanel's sniffed there knocking on the door. And, Allie's just like, she's doing this, but it's like, she doesn't seem like she's really panicking. It's more like, I'm like, is this just a slight inconvenience for you? I felt like the scene needed a little bit more drama, like she needed to actually feel, look like she was worried. Not That's literally what she did. More or less, are you doing a robot? Like, what are you doing, bro? I don't get that. I don't know. Maybe they were just did taking so many takes that day, which is like, no, screw it. Let's just go with this one. I felt like that was the case because I can't believe in my heart of hearts that you just kind of sat there and looked at that like, mm-hmm, this makes sense, and went with it. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. Um, Gwen, I don't know what they're doing with this character at this point. I don't know why they're trying to make her so desperate and pathetic and everything like that. I don't get it. She's not there looking at the phone and waiting for the phone and waiting for the phone to ring. And, meanwhile, Johnny and Xander bumped into each other. And, Johnny's not there giving Xander a guilt trip on top of, I guess, channeling his inner EJ, grabbing a hold of him, telling him, who I am, you know how my family is, so watch your back and stuff like that. Really laid it on thick as far as him having no remorse, him just being a heartless monster, and you know Susan's not there praying for him and stuff like that. Now, Xander did sit there and say I felt bad. I didn't want her to get hurt, yada yada yada. But also, whatever I say here is just going to be hearsay, and I'll just deny it. So after Johnny left, Xander felt bad. He went back to the hotel and told Leo and Gwen that the plan is off, and that's going to be that. Of course, he does have a run-in with Sarah, and then now here's the thing: when he goes back to the house, when he go back to the hotel, he's like, the plan is off, but we're not going to do it. I'm not going to be this heartless monster and stuff like that. And he leaves. Gwen somehow gets into her head that because this man grew a conscience, it somehow reflects on her. I sat there and I'm just like, I'm trying to do the math, and I don't get it. I'm literally like, I don't understand how you put all that together and felt like his change of him growing to conscience had something to do with him not loving you anymore, him not wanting to be with you. I was like, this is the stupidest train of logic. Whatever sort of logic trail you was that they're going in just seemed completely and utterly stupid. Um, Meanwhile, Sarah and Rex wake up, and more or less, Sarah's just like, I'm using you to get over Gwen, over Xander. And at first, well, I mean, she was like, listen, it's nothing more than just that, and I can't really think right now as far as I just got her out of a marriage and stuff like that. And of course, Rex is not there pulling her legs, and they're talking about, oh, you used me. And then he pretty much is like, listen, you got to get over your ex, and I'm available for service pretty much, more or less. So you want to go get breakfast, whatever. If it's Valentine's Day, he's like, hey, listen, we're just his friends. They run into Xander, and of course they play it out. Well, Sarah plays it out, and he's all like, oh yeah, we did this and that all night long. I barely slept. Oh, let's get something more to eat because I'm famished because we worked up just really kind of laying it on thick. And of course Rex, being the chivalrous guy that he is, like, yeah, he's just playing along with it. So they leave. Xander comes back, and he's like, yeah, let's go over there. Let's go over to Jack and let's take the newspaper. So now Gwen once again think, oh, cool, he's really choosing me, and he's getting back his dark side or whatever train of logic that she's thinking, she just keeps on thinking, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But whatever. So Jack, he's just kind of worried and stuff like that. He's talking to himself. Jennifer comes back, and Jack tells Jennifer about the blackmail. So Jennifer's like, listen, we're not going to do that. We're not going to sit there and give up our life's work and everything like that to your daughter and your former best mate. Um, Jack was just like, how did I even get in this position? So she's like, I'm gonna turn myself in. Turn myself in. Maybe I'll get a slap on the wrist. Maybe I'll pay a fine. Who knows? Work something out. Gwen, Jack, Leo stays at the house because now he's happy that he gets to run his gossip column. And I'm pretty much like, all right, so we doing this? You gonna sign over the paper? You gonna sign over the paper, or is your wife going to jail? You like which way is this going? Um, yeah, I think that's actually about it. All in all, I gotta sit there and say this was another good episode. This was a cliffhanger, especially Chanel being at the door. She couldn't find the key, and then she found the key. And of course, Alex is like, "What are we gonna do?" Like it was kind of stupid, kind of silly, and I can't believe that they looked at that and were just like, "Yep, that's the one we're gonna sit there and take. That's the one we're gonna use. We're gonna use that take." But besides that, you know. Now I will sit there and say this about Paulina. Paulina's that they're trying to get more excuses to why Allie was doing what Allie was doing, as far as being drunk and being all moody and everything like that, and somewhat hooking up or kind of almost hooking up because they were drunk. The first time I got that. The second time I sort of got that, but at the same time, you gotta sit there and take your daughter. You gotta sit there and kind of defend your daughter a little bit too, though. Like if Paulina would have saw Abe drinking with I don't know Nicole, and they were doing sort of the same thing, and they almost kissed. I'm pretty sure Paulina would have been. Well, we all know how Paulina would have been. So I think in that scenario, you can cut your daughter some slack. Granted, yeah, she did start this whole thing with Johnny, but in that situation, because even Allie felt bad, like, she was pushing her away and, she now really wanted to work things out. And I'm like, Allie, you are a mess. I mean, you're a soap opera mess, which is good, but you are just a mess, bro. I mean, you cheated on Trip twice with Chanel, and now you're cheating on Chanel with Alex. Something tells me you're not really ready for a relationship. You're really not ready for a relationship. I don't know when you ever will be ready for a relationship, but this ain't working out. Not working out. Oh, I did kind of forget about the quick little rendezvous between Paulina and Johnny. Long story short, she was like, just stay away from my daughter. Because the more that y'all keep hanging out and everything like that, the worse it's going to be as far as the relationship is concerned. And, Johnny's like, listen, with all due respect, it's Alex that you really need to sit there and be kind of wanting to stay away from, as far as your daughter is concerned. I mean, as far as Allie is concerned. Which, to some extent, he does have a point. I'm still sitting there thinking about that scene when Johnny was possessed, which was a really great scene. Here's the thing about Johnny. When Johnny, he channels that inner Demera in him, he can be a very cool character. He can be a very cool character to sit there and watch. And I am so glad that they got this actor in the show. Um, I'm so glad that they got this actor in the show. Because last I tried to, I'm not gonna. He definitely has the look where it's like when he wants to sit there and be kind of a badass, he really can. Um, and we saw that when he was possessed by the devil and everything like that. So it's like he has it in him. Um, Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else. Um, can't really think of anything else that really happened in this episode. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Have a great, safe weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.